All right, hello. We're gonna continue the series today for the suggested underwhelming or underpowered weapons in the entire game, the fixing MR Fodder as we call it. In case you don't know, I'm streaming pretty frequently on Twitch recently. I've been streaming The Binding of Isaac. If there is people that like roguelikes and all these type of games that you do a run, you get randomized items. And I've been enjoying the game a lot, so I've been streaming it a lot, and it's genuinely a lot of fun. Regardless, for our weapons category today, I'm gonna first of all show from now on every single weapon that we have. So here is a list of every single entry so far. This is not in order, even though we're going with this entry right now. This is in random completely, depending on what I read first and how I made the list myself. I might just do any at the time. Like, it matters on what I already have, what is pretty good, and what needs more work to be done. And I think you can pause the list if you want to see if your weapon has been suggested already. If it hasn't, feel free to suggest it, and I will take a look at it whenever possible. So, you probably saw it. Today's weapon is going to be the Euphona Prime, which I just finished. So the Euphona Prime, it is a weapon from back when Banshee Prime was released. This is a very old weapon, and the base stats of the weapon definitely show it. 30% chance, 2.5 crit multiplier, 2% status chance. Like, 2% status chance is absolutely abysmal. No weapon is usable with 2% status chance in the entire game. And generally, secondary fire stats also look pretty pathetic. So how do you make this very, very good? The worst part about this weapon is that even though it's very old, back in the day it was very strong because status chance back in the day wasn't that needed, which meant that we could easily use something like this to absolutely one-shot almost anything that we need. So this weapon was basically Lex Prime, but way, way better back in the day. And because of that reason, the weapon has pretty god awful Riven disposition, even though right now, by today's standards, it is pretty god awful. So I have two builds here. This one is like a normal primary fire build, which I should change one. Sorry about that. That looks way better. So, magnetic heat, you outsource viral from somewhere else and just get it since you don't need to mod for it anymore. And it's just, it's just your standard crit based, whatever, I will one shot something built. I wasn't very interested in this. I think having a one shot pistol that just one shots one enemy sometimes can be useful, especially if you use something like, I don't know, secondary fortifier, for example. But we have way, way too many pistols that do this job already, and way too many pistols that aren't really that impressive at doing this. So I went with a different approach. So this build, as you can see, has galvanized shot and semi-pistol cannonade. And you might be wondering, why is that? Is this pistol multiplicative CO? And the answer is no. No, it's not. It's additive CO. So why are we going with this? Well, we are modding for the secondary fire, actually. And the Riven mode isn't that great for the secondary fire. As you can see, it's plus damage, plus status chance, minus status duration. It is not the best, to be honest. You could easily switch this for something else and you would probably be better off, especially because the disposition is very, very low. But I'll still use it. It's probably better than using the standard deep freeze mode, which is 90%. But what we're gonna do here is gonna be very interesting. So this is a disruption build. Disruption builds need some setup, and the setup we're gonna go for is we're gonna prime with a Cedo. Our Cedo primer will have this exact build with Shell Shock, Severing Contagion, Corrosive Blast, Severing Contagion, because Cedo Altfire does deal cold on its own and it then can spread it very, very easily. And then a Vast Lock that will armor shape by using this build. The Riven mode doesn't really matter. It just, it's there to just be there. But, yeah. So, armor strip and viral, and the Cedo has straight up, status effect spread, nothing else. And you might be wondering, why the hell do I have primary Deadhead? It's because the Deadhead on primary and secondary weapons stack with each other. So if you have primary dead hit, you get 30% headshot multiplier to everybody from primary dead hit, and then you take secondary dead hit, and then you get another 30% headshot multiplier. So in total, now you deal 60% damage to headshots, and this is universal. This is with any weapon that you might be using. Even if it's an AR gun, you get this buff normally, which is why Deadhead is so OP in general. But yeah, so the next step is that because semi-pistol cannonade gives us the punch through on top of everything else, which is very weird to be honest, because normal punch through mode sticker is 2.1. This is 1.5. You're not losing much, and the cost for the mod is not that big of a difference. So this was really interesting for me to see, but that means we can now use Zada's Whisper. And for the crits, we can outsource it by using Adar's Kavat with Cat's Eye and Tech Enhance, and then just keep it alive by any means possible. And then, in case you need more, you can also go Arcane Avenger. With Wisp being such an easy way to keep Arcane Avenger, especially when you go triple armor shards, it's something that really, really works. So, overall, I tried this. I know the results of the setup and everything. It was really cool to look at the setup working and working so well, because I think this weapon with this setup can do some really insane damage. Like some crazy, crazy damage. There is too many numbers on the screen on the screen to even see, which is just really, really nice. We're just gonna ignore some Mars, because we don't care about the target right now. We care about the target when there is Riven challenges, and only when there is Riven challenges. And I'm gonna show you that the primary fire real quick is not that useful, but you can still stack your primary dead hit with it pretty reliably, because it does deal some decent damage, which is always nice. So, stack that hit, your our key. And now the important part is to not activate Zada's Whisper. If you get Zada's Whisper headshot, then the headshot multiplier is gonna double dip onto your shot, which is extremely, extremely broken. So try not to use Zada's Whisper yet. So we wanna first shoot the guy with our Sido, stun him. Now with Zada's Whisper, and to shoot him. And I didn't shoot him with the Vastalok, which would put viral procs, not because I don't want viral procs. Actually, no, it has no viral procs. It should have viral procs, but it doesn't. But I did it because the cat armor should be it, so it was not really needed. But it was a heavy gunner. It was probably one of the tankier ones. I think I did lose Zada's Whisper on top of that, so our damage was a bit lower, most likely. When you get the Kavat buff, you can just absolutely destroy everything with the alt fire. The alt fire, when you get the Adarza buff, absolutely shreds. You can see I'm orange critting because Adarza plus Arcane Avenger is doing the funny. And that is how you outsource crit in this game, to crit more frequently on some other weapons that normally do not. Secondary fire can also be used freely if you want prime for your primary fire. The status chance is enough with the amount of multi-shot the secondary fire has, which makes it pretty decent in that regard. So the Bailiff, the tankiest one. Let's see. Unarmor him. And viral, and there. So, yeah. Now we're gonna put it all together on this next one. Hopefully we get Kavat buff as well to just maximize the damage outputs, but we're gonna have Zada's Whisper, so that's kinda gonna ruin the headshot multiplier, but I don't think it's such a big deal. As you can see, lots of damage. There is just way too many numbers of the screen to even count and anything, and yeah, it's really beautiful when it happens, and everything just lines up perfectly for that one shot to absolutely one-tap the guy. You love to see it. At least I love to see it. It's really fun. And obviously because this has so many base damages, the primary fire, if you do all the priming on the target, can still do some really decent damage if you want to go that way. But I'm a fan of this because the secondary fire is considered even worse than the primary fire normally, but making it work is like something that I really crave. Doing stuff like this is something that is really nice. So, the target now. Because the Nox is very squishy, so lots and lots of damage. So we're gonna do this on the next wave just to show how we can one-shot all 4 targets with correct setups and shit. Let's see how much damage we can do to the guy. Okay, 4 shots for the synthesis target. Not bad, not bad. Sir, trying to create a video here. I would appreciate it if your rampart wasn't in the way. Thank you. Also, fun fact, the primary fire is a projectile, while the secondary fire is a hit scan. The primary fire is also very slow. Because secondary fire is a hit scan, it makes it additive CO, even though the primary fire is also 100% additive CO, but that also means that it's really hard to miss as long as you can, you know, aim. No Avenger buff, sadly. I probably one-shot him with Avenger buff, to be honest, because I have all that crit damage stacks. So, Mania. 2 shots. Really cool stuff overall. Like, when I took a look at the Euphona Prime, I was thinking so hard about what I should do with it, and I think I came up not only with the most interesting solution to making this gun more than viable, but the most the highest potential on the solutions. Because of the high multi-shot, the punch through, everything like stacking together onto a very insane Zara's Whisper sword. You can do some really solid damage with this. And it's kind of a one-of-a-kind attack. Like, the only other similar weapon with this type of attack is the Detron. And yeah, you could do something like this with the Detron, but the Detron is already overpowered. We're looking at other power weapons. If you like this weapon, because yeah, its aesthetics and everything about it looks absolutely sick. So you could definitely do stuff with it. So let's go. This guy first. Whoop. And now they expired. This guy didn't have as many status effects, but it's still almost a one-shot. I don't know, I think it's really cool what you can do with the alt-fire of the Euphona when you actually like set up for it correctly. And this goes for pretty much all weapons. Like, this weapon looks completely doomed. It has low stats. It basically only has base damage. It is hit scan additive CO, so you're like, how the hell can you save this? But you don't even need an insane Warframe like Sevagoth on Rhino to save this. You can do this with something like Wisp, which is what I will try to do. I will try as much as possible in this series to not use things that could completely trivialize this, like the Goth Sevagoth and such. I think that's straight up cheating. Wisp as much as possible since it's my main and very comfy to use, and yeah. We'll see how this goes and what weapon stops us. And I don't think Stag is gonna stop us. So if Stag is not gonna stop us, I don't know what will. So, Bailiff the last one. Tankiest one. But doesn't stand a chance, so... When things happen correctly, this just deals a lot of damage. But the setup has to be more or less perfect, which is pretty easy for some people. But hopefully this video can also help you realize how you can set up on missions like this to do the most amount of damage with your weapons when you wanna kill a demolisher target. This could help you out, a video like this. You may not be interested on the weapon, but the tech behind on like how to make the weapon stronger might be more of an interest to you than the weapon itself. So regardless of if you like the weapon or not, you may learn something in this series that can help your other weapon builds, which I think is really nice. So, that's gonna be it for the Euphona Prime. These are the builds. Riven mode is being replaced by Deep Freeze if you need to do that. I don't think this Riven mode changes much, especially with that minus status duration absolutely ruining any hit procs that one might get. And then the Cedo build is this one. No Riven modes here, just straight up. And then the last look here is this one. The Riven mode is replacing nothing. You don't need the Riven mode. And yeah. And I guess if you want the Wisp build, but just Zada's Whisper is what's doing the work. So as long as you have a decently high Zada's Whisper buff, this should be right up your alley. So, I thank you very much for watching. I'll leave Discord and Twitch links in the description below. And I will see you on the next video. Goodbye.